So 2021 is about to come to a close, and just like everyone else in this entire world, I'm about to do some reflection and kind of think back about the year that has just passed. You know, it's kind of hard to kind of pinpoint where exactly 2021 started, because 2020, 2021, they all to me seem like this giant blob of like hurt, loss, isolation, and it's not the best couple of years. I haven't been able to go into an in-person university class in almost 2 years, and on top of that, me and my entire family, we all tested positive for COVID. So we're just stuck at home wearing masks and everything. Yeah, so that happened. Yeah, and even despite everything that has happened, I'm still a firm believer that it's all about your outlook and perspective on life that really defines the quality of your life that you really, really want to have. You know, in 2020 and 2021, in those 2 years that have really tested us and surrounded us with so much negative things, thoughts like political unrest, all of that crazy stuff, it really puts us all to the test and see if we can really make a year worth something despite all the bad stuff that we often associate the past 2 years with. So at the end of the day, it's all about finding gratitude in the small things in life that we've been blessed with. And in this video, I really want to talk about that and talk about specifically 5 very meaningful things that I learned over the course of this trying and challenging year that I've learned that couldn't be found anywhere else on the internet. Hopefully these things will kind of inspire you to have a different outlook, a more positive one for the year to come in 2022. If you guys are new to the channel, welcome. My name is Brandon. I'm a third-year student at the University of Toronto, and honestly, I'm just like every single one of you guys, people who are trying to figure out what to do in this game called life. And I'm openly sharing my learnings, the highs and lows, and in this video, specifically about my past year. So these are the 5 things that I learned over the past year of 2021. If you're interested, I'm going to put timestamps below to kind of skip through, but that's basically, that's it. I'm really excited to share this with you, so stick around if you're interested in learning more about what these tips actually mean and kind of diving deep into that. Hope you guys enjoy. Lesson number 1. You'll never find out how until you're clear on why. If you've been following me for a while, you know that start with why has been one of the biggest life, or how you're even going to do it if you don't have a strong base, if you don't have a strong foundation in the reasons why you're going to do it. This past year has shown us that, you know, life is extremely turbulent. There's so many unexpected things that can happen, both to encourage, but also, unfortunately, to discourage you from achieving your goals. If you're not rooted in your why, the reasons and the passions behind what you're doing and how you're doing it, it's really hard to kind of stay on track, especially with your goals and things that you want to accomplish. Something very tactical for me that happened over the past year was that I did a complete 180 on my career plan. And I think I'll go into that in a separate video, but for me, what changed was my what and my how I was going to accomplish my why. My why of still empowering and inspiring people within the biotech and healthcare sector was still the exact same, but how I was going to do it changed. And I think for me, and for many people out there who are kind of, you know, trying to figure out what they want to do with their life, especially now as we're growing up as students, I think this is a very important thing to keep in mind going into 2022. Be rooted in your why, the reasons and the motivations behind what you're doing, and invest some time into kind of figuring that out before you kind of look into how you're going to accomplish your goals. Lesson number 2. As a young person, especially as a student, you should say yes more and then figure it out later. Over the past couple months, I kind of realized that life isn't as linear as I thought previously. And I think looking back at my entire life, we're kind of ingrained by society to kind of follow this linear path. You know, you start in kindergarten, go to elementary, go to middle school, high school, and then once high school happens, we either go into getting further education at a university or college, or going right into work. Once we get that education, we get work, we find a partner, we get married, have kids, life goes on. And it's a very straight line path, and I think if we look at society, the majority of members kind of adopt this concept of a linear lifestyle. But I think what happened in the past year for me that has really opened my eyes is that in life, although we follow this baseline of a somewhat linear path, there are small windows of opportunity, things that may come up for a very short period of time that is quite spontaneous. And I think what we have to do as people, as students, people who want to live a meaningful life and kind of discover our identity, is to kind of say yes to those small windows, those small opportunities that present itself. I think for me, this is really what changed the trajectory of my career, or what I think is going to be my career, because of these small windows that have opened up. And I think as a young person, if we're so focused on this linear path of life that we have to do everything in this routine, this sequence of events that have to occur chronologically, we kind of lose sight of what could possibly be and kind of exploring these opportunities that present itself to us so that we can really understand who we are and who we're meant to be as people. At the end of the day, life is all about your experiences. You become the person you are because of the experiences that you have. And so I'd urge you for this year, for 2022, invest in these experiences. Put yourself in places where serendipitous moments of, people, meeting people and getting these opportunities are more likely to happen. And then once you're in those places, enjoy them, savor them, but also document them. Take pictures, take photos, do these short mini vlogs on your phone to kind of understand and appreciate the moments that you have in life, because those are things that you're going to take with you for years to come. And I think they can also be turning points and pivot points in your life that allow you to go into many different places, many different avenues that you never thought would be possible, by not listening to this linear path of life, but rather looking for these small opportunities that may present itself over the course of this year. Lesson number 3, the most valued asset is your time. So in the first couple months of 2021, I really came to this word that has since shaped the remainder of my year, which is efficiency. And I think that's something I'm now aiming to live my life on, and that's been a pillar of my life, to be able to get more done in a shorter amount of time. And that's really done by investing in your systems and your automations that you tend to visit quite a lot throughout your day. Things such as email, your to-do list, task management, just even time blocking your day or building up routines. Those are things that definitely more people need to be conscious about, kind of investing their time in to kind of make it a little bit easier for you to get more stuff done. In addition to that is your commitment level to different things you are saying yes to. I think as I've been getting a little bit older now and I'm in my 3rd year of university, I've been able to kind of have the opportunity to have a lot of things presented to me, a lot of opportunities, speaking opportunities, club opportunities, things of that nature. And I think there's this really good quote, I forgot who wrote it, or I think there's a book on it, called Hell Yeah or No, or Hell Yeah or No. And it really just about, if you are doing something, make sure you're 100% committed to it, or else don't do it, in the respect of your time. And I think as we go into 2022, that's something that I'm going to be personally thinking more about, being a little bit more selfish of my time, in a way that is better for myself, but also better for the commitments and people that I'm saying yes to. Because I know that if I say yes to something, I'm going to give 100% and not having to do something halfway because I just don't have enough time. Lesson number 4: be ambitious, but also act your age. Now, this is a very interesting learning that I had over the past year, and I think I can really categorize this to you in a story of some sorts. So in January to April, the second semester of my second year of 2021, I was able to be really, really headstrong on my career and my future goals. I had this elaborate plan that I was going to fulfill, and I talked to so many people to validate that. And I spent lots of my time on meetings and calls, doing projects, work, and I think that was a very, very good experience for me, because I was able to turn that semester of not having an in-person classes into something that really challenged me outside of school. Things such as research, doing work in my startups, and also talking to really, really cool people really helped me kind of shape my vision of what I want to do in the future. Now, summer rolls along, and I kind of kept up this mentality and this kind of, hustle culture or hustle mentality that I had. And I quickly realized that I would be having meetings in evenings, and that would prevent me from actually going out with my friends. My friends would ask me hey, look, do you want to go on a walk? Do you want to play basketball? Whatever. And I would have to unfortunately say, sorry, I can't. I have a meeting. And one of the things that I quickly realized at the start of the summer was that I was missing out on a lot of things in the present of being a kid, being someone who is 20 years old, trying to enjoy summer, because of things that I was focused on for the future. Things like my career, doing these projects that would help me get to where I want to be in the future. And it often really sucked because I was missing out on what made life so meaningful, which was just being in the present. And so when I say this is the biggest learning, one of the biggest learnings that I've had, and it's honestly changed the way I've lived out the rest of this year, 2021, was because I wanted to find a way to balance both spontaneity and things that I could do, like free time in my schedule where my friends could just say, hey, you want to hang out? And I would be able to say yes to that, or, do these things because I was free, over working so hard all this time. And I think I was able to actually go to London, Ontario and visit my friends at Western University for 2 times, combining maybe almost a month of time there, just spending time and having some of the best experiences of my life just with a bunch of my really, really good friends. And it's that balance of trying to figure out, am I focusing and am I investing my time into something that is preparing me for the future, or am I investing my time into something that allows me to live in the present? I think finding that balance is something we should definitely give thought about before heading into 2022. Lesson number 5, build up your brand. So what was very unique about this year of 2021 was that I was able to reach 1,000 subscribers on YouTube, a very small but big achievement to myself personally. But I was also able to get several opportunities because of this quote-unquote brand that I have created for myself. I have been writing a newsletter and doing YouTube for the past couple of months, almost over a year now. I think it's been over a year actually, but relatively inconsistently. I haven't made it such a big priority yet. I think this year that will definitely change in 2022. But as a result of kind of investing passive time into creative outlets such as YouTube and my blog, I was able to get recognized and kind of build some kind of brand around myself over the internet. That resulted in, surprisingly, having a freelance consulting gig for Bain & Co. in Washington that I spontaneously had, being able to work in the San Francisco startup known as Gemi, and also just being able to find and meet so many cool people from around the world who are students in high school or university trying to figure out their way in life. And that's been such an amazing experience to have an audience and people who I can connect with and learn from and also give my insights to. And I think that's been the most rewarding time of this past year. And if I were to attribute that all into one sentence, it would be because of this brand that I've created for myself. I'm going to talk about this in a later video, but just building your brand opens up so many different doors and opportunities for you. So no matter what it is, I think every single interaction matters. Every single conversation you have with someone, every single post you put on social media, everything is all about building this brand of yours, the way that people perceive you, both as an individual, but also as a quote-unquote brand. And so going into 2022, that is something that our world is slowly shifting towards, viewing individuals more as brands over these corporations or these enterprises. And I think that's very, very interesting because it allows for people and individuals to kind of firstly build an audience and also connect with people, but also monetize off of their brand. And so I think that's something I'll talk about in a later video, but definitely something I've learned over the past year. So that video went a little bit longer than I kind of hoped, but I hope that you guys learned at least one thing. Hopefully you learned 5 things from this video about what I've, from my personal experiences and my learnings from the year of 2021. Now, I'm really excited because this is the first time picking up my camera in quite a long time, and I'm really excited to do this more consistently and making this a high priority for me for this upcoming year. So be sure, if you're interested in this kind of content, be sure to hit that subscribe button. Leave me your comments, your thoughts. I want to listen to anything you guys have to say about this in the comments below. So make sure to write that down. But thank you guys so much for tuning in, and I hope to see you guys again next Saturday for my next video on what my 2022 will look like this year.